Righto, part 2 of our land-based soft baiting videos. In the first video I took you through all of the gear that I'd normally take on a standard soft baiting trip off the rocks. Right from the bag we use through to the soft baits, jig head sizes and the current rod and reel that I'm using from Daiwa. This video is going to be more about the knots and the connections between your braid and your leader, and also the leader to your jig heads. Right, let's get into it. Daiwa 30-pound J thread, and the braid is 30-pound J braid. So with your FG knot, I always start with the leader in my left hand, okay, and then braid in your right hand. Now you want to leave enough of a tag end to work with, so about that distance there is probably enough for you. Most of the strength in the knot is actually in the first few turns that you do. So it's important that when you do the first ones that you get it to bite so that it's going to hold and not slip as you're doing the rest of the knot. Okay, so enough of a tag end. You lay the braid over the top of your leader and you just pinch it there with your thumb and your index finger in your left hand. Okay. Now with that tag end that's laying over the top, you're going to go under and over. So that's one. Okay. Then with this side here, the main line, same deal, under and then back over towards you. That's two. Okay. Repeat the process. So away from you, under, over is three. Under, over is four. And you're going to keep going until you get to 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Now, what I've been really careful to do is to make sure that each one is laying in front of the next one, not over the top of each other. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to grab both of these here. Okay. And I'm going to bite the end of the leader. Okay. And when I bite the end of the leader, I'm going to then pull as if I was pulling from this end here, and I'm going to pull the leader in the opposite direction, and these will tighten up and hopefully bite into the leader. Okay, so I'll do that now. Okay, so I've still got that pinch there. I'm going to bite this end, grab these two, and I'm going to slowly work it down so that they all squeeze up and then bite onto the leader. Okay, so that's the starting point there. So that's your first set of 8. Now I'm going to do 4 sets of 8. Okay, so that's my complete knot. So I've just done 1 set of 8. I've got 3 more to go. Really trying to keep it nice and snug and making sure that they lay ahead of each other each time. So I'll keep going. Okay, so next set of 8. Same again. So we're going to go under and over. Under. Back towards you is 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then we do the same with our teeth, biting the end and then sliding that end back in. You really got to pull firm from this end as you're sort of guiding it down that way. Okay. Okay, that's 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, one more set of 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so at this point, I've done 4 sets of 8. Okay, so that's pretty much the FG knot done. The only thing I need to do now is I need to just lock off the braid so that it's not going to peel out. I think this is where most guys go wrong, is that they don't quite do the locking off bit, and then after a few casts it starts to slip a bit, and then that's when the knot fails. Okay, so the next bit I'll do is I'll just show you how to finish this knot off nicely. What I used to do here was I used to do a whole lot of half hitches, and then that would be it. But what I found was that would come undone, and then the knot would eventually fail. I found this locking off technique from the Morning Tide guys, from Briggsy, from his video. So if you're not liking this one, search up Briggsy from Morning Tide, and yeah, he's a legend when it comes to knots and showing you what to do. So, but I'll show you it here anyway. So basically, what you're doing is you're grabbing that tag end. Okay, so you're going to grab that tag end and you're going to form a loop. Okay, and I've laid that over the top of the two. That tag end, I'm going to bring that through the loop and I'm going to take it over the 2 lines. 1, twice, 3 times, 4, oh sorry, and 5. Okay. Right, now here's the tricky bit. Okay, you've done that 5 times. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this end, I'm watching this end as I do this next bit. I actually want to go the opposite way to almost unravel it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to keep this end nice. I'm going to keep this end nice and snug. So I'm going to go 1, 2, make sure it's laying right next to it. 3, 4. Okay. Right, so that's now unraveled itself. I grab this end and I grab that tag end and I'm going to slowly pull it in the leader direction, and what you'll see is that all of those turns start to coil up together. Okay, and I pull it up so that it's nice and snug. Right, now to really lock it off, I pull on the main line and the leader nice and hard now. I pull on that tag in a bit as well, just to get it all nice and streamlined and tight. That's the knot done there. Now, that's pretty much bulletproof as it is. What I like to do, and what I was shown from that video from Briggsy, is to clip the end of your leader so that there's a little bit left over. Okay, now this is where your lighter comes in, because what you're going to do, you're going to put a bit of spit on this, okay, so that it's not going to burn straight away. So you get that wet, and then just cover it with your thumb and your index finger so that that end's pointing out. Okay, now with your lighter, if you hold it away, you'll start to see it mushroom up a bit. Okay, and that's going to move closer to your braid. And it's going to form a mushroom so that that braid can't slip past it. Okay, so it's like a backup basically. Then what you can do, once you've done that, is pull your knot so that it slides up hard against that end that you've just formed with the lighter. Okay, and that is now really strong. With the braid tag end, what you can do is you can tie a granny knot, and you just slide that as close as you can to the knot itself. Clip just above that with your scissors or your clippers, and then with your lighter you can actually burn that so that it's close to the knot, and what you're left with is a completely streamlined knot, so there's no issues casting this through your guides. Super strong, and yeah, just really streamlined, great for casting. It might seem like a complete and utter mission to tie that knot, but when you get the hang of it, you can do it really quickly. So you can do it within a minute or two, and it gives you an excuse to stop and have a coffee, tie up a new knot, and it's definitely worthwhile spending the time learning how to tie an FG knot. Some guys still use Albrights and other knots. They're good knots, especially if you're in a rush. I just find that they're a bit bulky getting through the guides. And when you're fishing off the rocks, you really want to have a long leader to give you that abrasion resistance. So if you've got a knot that you can cast easily, it's going to be that much better. Yeah, so that's the FG knot. Okay, so then your leader length. So another reason for having a longer rod off the rocks is that you can maximize the length of your leader. So I always aim to have my index finger on the braid when I'm casting. So what I do then is leader length, I basically go the length of the rod times 2. So my index finger's on the braid, and I've got the length of the rod twice, and that's where I cut my leader off. Okay, so now I've got a nice long leader, but I'm still casting with my index finger on the braid, so there's no issues with it getting caught up in the guides because of that FG knot. So then your leader to your jig head. Now, lots of guys fish with a Rapala knot, so that there's a loop which gives more action in your lure. What I do, I've always just fished with a uni knot tied directly straight onto the jig head, only because I find it to be the strongest knot, and sort of that's what I'm after. But what you can do is you tie your uni knot, lay the tag end over the 2 lines, through both. I usually go 5 times. Okay, and then you slowly pull this tag end up, slowly edge it back down, pull the tag end again. Okay, so I'd normally fish with it just like that, but sometimes just to get a bit more action, what I'll do is I will, sort of every 3 or 4 casts, is I'll just pull the knot out to form the loop, and you can actually fish with it just like that with the loop formed from the uni knot, and then obviously when you get a hit or a fish, it's just going to slide back down, so that you got full strength knot. Yeah, so that's what I normally fish with, is just the loop formed from the uni knot rather than a Rapala knot. That's just my preference. So that's how I connect to the jig head. Okay, so now with an FG knot connecting my braid to the leader and a uni knot connecting the leader to the jig head, I've got full confidence in this setup. So I can really load up the drag, and I can do my best to turn a fish's head. I'm not panicking at all about the knots. I've had some great success with that knot there, and I still get plenty of hits with a uni knot without the loop. If it's a slow day, I'll pull that knot out, make a loop so there's a bit more action in the lure. Yeah, so that's the setup. If you have any questions, please comment below, And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Moocher Hunters. See what we're getting up to and the adventures that we are having.